Alright, so here we go again. Now to the case of replacing the rear shock absorbers on my Chevy Cube van, which has not been undercoated this year just yet. Um, we have a nut here, which is connected, mounted onto a bolt. This bolt is 13/16, and I'm using my 21 socket on the other side to keep this from turning while I'm cracking this loose with my torque wrench or my breaker bar. And up top in there you have a couple of 13 millimeters, just like the front ones. Alright, so I'm going to be removing those two guys and this bottom bolt, and that's all it takes to remove and replace the rear shock absorber on your Chevy 3500 Cube van. I'm going to do that. I'm going to crack them loose, take it off, and then put it right back on. Stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back to my video here, replacing the rear shock absorber on the 2020 Chevy Cube van, and this is a 3500. So I got it off, and here's how I did it. It's a little tricky in terms of the 13 nuts, bolts, which hold the shock in the upper mount, in the upper shock tower. You'll see it. If you're doing this as a DIY job, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's difficult to show it under there, so I'm just going to keep it on the ground here. So I ended up using my swivel head 13 millimeter, as you can see. I ended up using my swivel head to crank it and to get it, especially the inner one. I think it was the inner one that kind of, when it started coming out, it was like inching close to the head as it is there now, like close to that. So I ended up using my 13 spanner just to finish, bringing it out to where my finger could actually complete the extraction. So from my 13 swivel head to my 13 spanner, and then using my fingers just to finish winding it out. The bottom one, as I said, I used my 21 millimeter spanner on the opposite side of the side. I was using my torque wrench, and I used a 13/16. It seemed like I used my 13/16, and of course, as you can see, it's a little loose there, but the 21 actually could have gotten it off as well. But I put this spanner on one side just to prevent the bolt from spinning through the bottom end of the shock. As you turn, it'll be spinning right on the other side. So just put the spanner on the other side just to make sure it didn't turn. And of course, I used my torque wrench. I wound it out so it wasn't putting any pressure on the springs there. I use that to extract that big bolt. And so as it is there now, this spot is blank. As you can see, that's blank, and my shock tower there, that's blank as well. Alright, it's a pretty straightforward job, to be honest. If you're doing this job, once you get the tools that I just mentioned, and I have the front of my truck slightly raised there now. I didn't have to raise it, but since it's already on jack stands, I just left it on. I think it may have given me a little bit more clearance here, but all in all, it's a pretty straightforward job. And this is the replacement. And never mind how long it looks compared, it's just because it's fully extended. And you might wonder why I'm changing them. Here's what I'm changing. I'm just using one hand right now, one hand to compress it. I'm going to compress it with just my one hand and show you how dead that is. It goes down, 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 and it takes a pretty good time to bounce back. As you can see, it's barely crawling up there like snake, just snaking along. So just imagine you hit a pothole and that goes slamming down. There's no bounce back whatsoever. There's no bounce back. It just stays down there forever. You know what I mean? So with the weight of the truck bouncing in and out of potholes, that's not gonna cut it. You need something that's more responsive than that. You know what I mean? At least that's just my thinking. All right. So there you have it. The box that it came in. The box, the numbers. I'm just showing you the numbers that you can see on the box. I don't know what these numbers mean, really, because to be honest, it doesn't look anything like the part number I got from the dealership. But I guess this is Monroe's part number. So there you have it. I'm using the good old favorite Monroe's. All right. So I had my two front ones installed. As you may have seen, if you haven't seen it yet, you can check out my other video on how I install those two. Excuse me. And how I installed that one and the other side. So these are the front ones. So I'm doing the back ones now. Alright, so thank you for watching. Bye for now.